What's up, guys? It's Parnellyx, and Riot just dropped Preseason 2022 on us in the middle of Worlds, well, play-in Worlds. So I want to react to them and just kind of, just give my first impressions about what Riot's doing for the preseason, because this is the big time of the year. Preseason is really like probably the most exciting part of the year. I mean, I guess it really depends on what they drop, but like last season, it was items. Season before, it was dragons, which, spoiler alert, I saw that they are changing the dragons this season, which I don't think they should have changed, honestly, because I think the current soul system is pretty good. Maybe it could be improved in some aspect. We'll have to wait and see how it is, but I'm surprised that they actually changed the dragons, considering I thought that was one of the better changes over the recent years. Items need to be looked at a little bit. The items are kind of a mess across the board. Like, the game still functions and everything, but it's pretty bad. There's a lot of problems with items, the new item system. Definitely not as good as it was last season. Not as fun. Everything is very bland, and there's definitely holes in items. I know that they are going to release new items. I know they did mention before that they are going to polish up the item system a little bit, but we'll see how much they do it and see, what they're exactly polishing. Runes also could be polished, and I mean, what else could really be changed to the game? Summoner spells, they could add more summoner spells, but I don't think that they're going to do that this season. So we'll have to wait and see. There's probably going to be some new change that no one ever thought about. Something like the alcoves in previous. Who thought of the alcoves? Which, by the way, the alcove change was nice. Didn't really change the game too much, but we'll take it. Anyways, let's go ahead and just, watch the video. Holy shit.
Here on behalf
There we
of
go.
the league team.
There we go.
We have a lot to cover today, including our plans for preseason, challenges, and game modes. But first, let's talk about the state of the game. Overall, we're pretty happy with the state of League this season. But before we get into the details, let's dive into
Are
the
you
topic
happy?
that's
I'm not
been
happy.
popular lately, which is new champion balance. When we look at the data, we actually see that new champions have been pretty balanced on release this year, with the exception of Dr. Mundo.
Mundo was the Mundo is the broken champion? Really?
Still hearing that new champions feel unfair.
You just showed a clip of Gwen?
Particularly when it comes to complex abilities
All right.
or overloaded kits.
They were overall relatively balanced. Overpowered maybe, but not too overpowered.
But that being said, there have been times when we've given new champions too many tools and had to pull back later to give them more clear weaknesses. For example, Samira's ability to dash to allies was removed because it provided too much safety. Combined with her missile blocker, it made seeing her too difficult, especially since that's one of her main forms of counterplay.
Yep.
Another thing we consider when we hear a champion feels bad to play against is their intended complexity. We try to make a healthy mix of high, medium, and low complexity champions. In this way, whether you like mechanical skill expression, point and click simplicity, or something in between, there's a new champion that interests you.
Skill expression shows Gwen. Nothing else needs to be said.
For example, with Vex, we wanted to create a champion that was fairly easy to pick up, and we're happy to see she's hitting that mark.
I think Gwen's a pretty nice champion. Or Vex.
There's also how difficult they are to understand. We want new champions to have unique gameplay, but you shouldn't need a wiki to know how to play with or against them. Learning counterplay is a skill test we do think is important, but knowing what a champ can or can't do shouldn't be a part of it. This clarity is something we haven't always hit the mark on, especially with champions like Aphelios, who not only has a complex kit, but was also lacking UI clarity.
It's fun. He's very fun.
Designing new champions
way too complex though.
Balance between making something that's exciting, has clear counterplay, and isn't confusing. We're still trying to find that line, but we want to get to a spot where new champions aren't just numerically balanced, but that you all feel they're fair to play against. Beyond new champion releases, this season we've seen a wide variety of picks in every role. We've also seen a healthy improvement in diversity of playstyles across roles.
Where's this going?
Especially in jungle and top lane. Some of this is due to direct champion changes, such as the kit adjustments that
dude, that's
like jungle Darius,
there's the brand supports in every game I see. They int every fight, every single fight.
Also had a positive impact, especially in top lane where we're seeing a ton of champion diversity. And finally, we know that some champion classes have been struggling after the item system update, and we've been working on some solutions to help them out. And this brings us to our plans for preseason. With that, I'm going to hand things off to Brightmoon. We'll go more in depth on the upcoming changes.
Okay, sounds good. Exciting stuff.
Hey everyone, I'm Brightman, the lead producer of gameplay on League of Legends. League is like a house. Sometimes we need to do a big renovation to keep it working well, like when we overhauled the item system. And sometimes we just need to add some new furniture. For this year's preseason, we're sprucing things up with improvements to our existing systems, like items, runes, and the elements.
It's looking like a slum. One in a house.
Our plans for items. While some champions and classes have lots of build options, we've still got others that don't feel like they've got a mythic or legendary that really speaks to them. So we're going to be adding
agreed.
some new
Warwick.
items and tweaking some others.
I'm building AP Warwick. That
This will include 2
tells you
new
all you need to know.
items. The first one is a support tank item, perfect for champions that want to get aggressive and charge into the middle of a fight. When you immobilize an enemy champion, all nearby enemies will take increased damage from your team for a short period of time. The second new
Wait,
mythic item
is that just a
Mages.
Abyssal Mask?
We're looking for a little more survivability. It grants damage reduction that lingers for a few seconds after you get hit, and while the protection holds, you'll also get ability haste. We think it'll be particularly good for longer range mages who need a mythic that helps them survive a dive rather than pile.
So the shield bow for mages
When we updated League
seems fine.
we wanted to give every champion strategic choices in every game. We still think that's the right goal for mythics, but our thinking has changed when it comes to legendary items.
Yes.
We think it's okay if
So many holes
champions
there.
build the same legendary in most games if it's a perfect fit. But we also want you to have plenty of options, which is why we're improving legendaries for mages, assassins, and tanks.
Tanks
For example,
especially.
Assassins can look forward to a new legendary item that gives ability haste, and also refunds a portion of their ultimate's cooldown with enemy takedowns.
Okay.
Tanks that can never get enough mana will be happy with a new legendary item that grants bonus health based on total mana, and also burn some of it to create a shield whenever they
Yes,
immobilize
that is Thimblewinter
Finally,
from
mages
Wild
who are
Rift.
tired of being denied their hard-earned kills can rejoice. They'll be receiving a new legendary that grants magic pen against recently shielded enemies.
I don't like that
Runes,
item.
We think there are some good targets.
There doesn't need to be more Grievous Wounds. There doesn't need to be more Shield Cut. They actually need to tone it back. Now, I think that Serpent's Fang in the game is pretty good to have, but it should just be that one item. You shouldn't be like, oh, well, you know, mages hate shields, so they should also... No. Limit the shield cut, limit the Grievous Wounds, balance the shields, balance the healing, and yeah, just focus on that. Like, Serpent's Fang is fine because it's on Assassins, but Assassins can't really abuse it. The Serpent's too hard, and it actually is like, shields are actually a giant counterplay to Assassins, so it is a way of, you know, making shield champions not counter them so hard. So it makes a lot of sense with Assassins, but mages, they don't need the shield cut as much. They definitely don't need the shield cut as much. So just limit the Grievous Wounds. Don't make the problem worse, right? They're like doubling down on this bad balance design with Grievous Wounds and shielding. They just need to not double down on it. That is the single biggest issue with the season. Above all, the single biggest issues with the season is Grievous Wounds and healing. And then, yeah, the shield cut's not really a problem, but it's like the cousin of that problem that's now getting introduced to the family. So they don't need to introduce it and create more problems. Oops.
Inspiration Tree's identity has been targeted changes we need to make. Most of all, we feel the Inspiration Tree's identity has been pretty unclear, and we'd like to broaden its keystone use cases.
Bring it back.
For example,
okay, I'm gonna say this right here, right now. Kleptomancy, bring it back. Was it fun? Yes. Was it broken? Yes. On some champions. But what they need to make it. Here's the problem I had with Klepto. Here's my problem I had with Klepto. Klepto, it had like no cooldown. It had like a 1.5 second cooldown, so spell spammers could abuse it. What if you increase the cooldown and then increase the percent chance that you get something good, so that it's better on a larger variety of champions, and it's worse on champions like Ezreal and Gangplank and Sona and stuff like that. Literally, that would balance the item. And I think that was like the only issue people really had with Klepto. Like, there might be some issues with Klepto, like the RNG factor, but generally speaking, the problem people had is that certain champions abused it, and then it was useless in others. and that like literally just like increasing the cooldown and then changing the rates, the drop rates would literally fix that issue without much effort. So I don't know why Riot, isn't doing that. I hopefully they do it. I don't think they're going to, but that's something that needs to that's something that needs to happen, because that was one of the most fun keystones in the game, and I don't think it should have been removed. It should have been reworked or just changed.
We're reworking Glacial Augment to double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies. We are also making some modifications.
Yeah, Glacial's also
to lean into its
Glacial is pretty. Glacial is pretty bland. It's very bland, not super fun to use. I imagine.
For example, we're reworking Glacial Augment.
How's the Glacial? So it procs on CC now. Okay, so it procs off CC abilities. Okay, so that makes it a good option for tanks. I think it could be a little bit broken. And obnoxious, like to play against. But it will be really good for tank supports and just anyone with a lot of CC. For Warwick in particular, he's not going to want it. He needs a damage keystone. Let's see about Lethal Tempo though.
To double down on its fantasy of slowing down enemies. We are also making some modifications to Lethal Tempo to lean into its attack speed fantasy and give it a more distinct use case in the precision tree. Up next are bounties.
They didn't clarify that. I didn't really see like with maybe it's giving more attack speed for a shorter duration. That would be pretty good. That would be a buff for Warwick, because Warwick doesn't have enough time to like, he's not going to use the full 6-second duration. He needs like a couple seconds to shred, and then he's going to get kited out. So if they did that, still probably wouldn't be the best for Warwick, but it would make the rune definitely more interesting. Although they didn't really show us exactly what they're doing. So
champion bounties give teams who are behind a way to get back into the game.
Oh yeah, dragon bounties. I think they're adding that.
And this year we're adding a second way for teams to try.
Or objective bounties.
Objective bounties will work like champion bounties, except you cash them in by taking map objectives like towers or Baron.
Towers.
Ramp up slowly when the enemy team lead grows, and the bounty is shared with your whole team, regardless of who claimed it.
I could see this being interesting. I feel like it's unnecessary because objectives naturally are just giving you an advantage. But there are definitely situations where, like, say you're behind like 5,000 gold at 25 minutes, and you have 0 dragons. So it's kind of pointless to take dragon in the first place. But the bounty could make it worth taking and give you something more to play for. I think this might be pretty decent. We'll have to like see. Maybe it just gives him too much comeback potential. That's the thing. You don't want to like give too many comeback opportunities. There's already like plenty in the game. There's bounties, objectives are really strong. But I think it has potential. I think this could be a really good change to the game. Could make the game more fun, less frustrating in solo queue. Could make people spam FF less in solo queue. If it does that, then I don't care what it is. I'll love it.
Taking objectives really is the best way to come back when you're behind, so we want to help make that a clearer and more rewarding strategy. That said, if a team is really far ahead, objective bounties won't change that. Being the better team should always get you a win, so we'll be watching the new bounty system closely to keep things in check. Finally, let's talk about our biggest addition this preseason, dragons. We really like how each dragon creates unique terrain, grants powerful buffs, and adds more strategy to the mid and late game. So this preseason, we're adding 2 more. Up first is the Hextech dragon.
Wait, they're adding dragons. They're not changing the dragon system. They're actually adding dragons. Okay, that is very interesting.
When your team defeats it, you'll all gain additional ability haste and attack speed. And if you claim the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works kind of like Static Shiv's passive. When this dragon takes over the rift, it creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations across the map.
What? That's broken.
The dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker side.
That is actually really fucking cool. That is really cool. So the stat, so it gives attack speed and ability haste. That's nice. I like that in Warwick, obviously. See, he benefits from both. Or is it one or the other? I think it gives both. So yeah, it'll be good with Warwick. the the stack shiv proc on it. Does it just slow or deal damage? I think it just slows. Because otherwise it would just be like Infernal Soul then. We didn't actually see.
In the soul, you'll receive a chain slow that works.
It does deal a little bit of damage, but it's not that much. But that's pretty interesting. I don't know if that soul in particular is that amazing though. That really doesn't seem like. That seems like a weird dragon soul. But the gates here, the portals. I love the portals. I love the portals.
Dragon takes over the rift. It creates Hextech gates that can transport you to set locations.
I love the portals.
The second dragon joining the party is Hextech's darker sibling, the Chemtech Drake. When you slay it, your team will deal increased damage when your HP is low, letting you turn around.
Increased damage when your HP is low? Oh my god, that just has Warwick written all over it, man. All over it. Oh my gosh. Unfortunately, though, every other champion in the game heals so much that Warwick's not even going to be the best user of this. Wait. This will be busted on Karthus, though. And Trinomir. Imagine Karthus dies and presses R. You're just done for, right? You're just done for.
Those close team fights. This Dragon Soul provides a second chance at life. Well, sort of. When you die, you'll enter a zombie state, where you can still cast abilities and continue fighting when you'd normally be looking at a gray screen.
Wait, it gives you Scion... Dude, it gives you Scion passive. It gives you Scion passive. That is like... First of all, that'll be funny on Scion. Damn, who's going to be like... That's actually pretty overpowered. Like, that's really OP. That actually might be like... That's definitely the strongest soul, I think. I'm pretty sure. Like, I guess maybe it depends, but generally speaking, like you're just not gonna be, it's gonna be so hard to team fight against anyone. That's nuts. That is nuts. For Warwick in particular, that's gonna be pretty good. Obviously. I don't know who will abuse that the most, but that is a nuts soul. And what was the percent damage when low? Yeah, this is gonna be the dragon that Warwick wants. This is gonna be the dragon that Warwick wants. He likes Cloud sometimes. He likes Infernal because everyone likes Infernal. Ocean Soul got nerfed this season, so it's not as good. This one is also gonna be very good. So Cloud, Fire, Cloud, Infernal, and this one what's it called? The Chemtech or something.
Chemtech Dragon putrefies the map. It creates camouflage zones.
Camouflage zones. Oh, I like that
These
idea.
dragons might seem more impactful than the current ones.
I like that idea.
And, well, they are.
A lot of people complain about it.
The goal is to add more unique encounters
but
and meaningful strategy
looks cool.
to the mid and late game. That said, these are some pretty big changes, and we're ready to adjust if they're making
It's good for
much,
assassins.
too little of an impact.
Flankers like Warwick.
You can expect to see all of these changes on PBE in a couple of weeks, and we'll be looking for your feedback in the months ahead.
I like the dragon changes.
Outside of preseason, something we've heard from all of you is that you'd like more ways to express yourself and your achievements in League. For some of you, ranked is how you define your progress, and that's great. We don't want to change that. But for those of you who
want to
are
win.
focused on the rank climb, there aren't great ways to express your own progress.
I'm not
Champion
making
Mastery
progress.
and
I'm hard
Eternals
stuck.
help you show off your skills on a particular champ, but they don't tell the story of your broader League legacy.
Yeah, this stuff sucks.
The new challenges system should achieve just that. Challenges rank up over time, showcasing your increasing mastery and legacy across a bunch of different systems, modes, and gameplay, making it a little different than just a standard achievement.
Hella damage.
We want to highlight not just your rank and champion mastery, but also your inventiveness, breadth of play styles, collection, and everything else in between. Want to showcase your knack for never dying in ARAM? Or how great you are at killing minions in SR in the first 10 minutes? Maybe you've collected over 100 champions, or love participating in events. All of this is now possible to track and display your progress with challenges. You'll get the first glimpse of challenges when they hit PBE next month.
Seems whatever.
Full
I don't think I'll
will
care,
launch
but
early next year.
might be
That's
good.
all I have to share with you today. Thanks so much for watching.
As long as it's not
We're
Internals.
back again to talk about game modes.
Eternals sucked, man. They sucked. You know why Eternals sucked?
When it
It's not because they're bad and you can just ignore it. because you can just ignore it. But it's the fact that they are so bad, and Riot spent a ton of resources on them. That is concerning. That's not what I wanted to hear.
When it comes to game modes, one thing we've been hearing from you all is that you'd like more variety in the modes we bring back alongside events. So let's talk about it. To start, we actually agree that the existing rotation of game modes can make some of the most popular modes like Earth and One for All feel a bit stale. Some of you have asked why we just don't bring back some of our other older game modes like Star Guardian Invasion or Ascension to mix things up. And the answer is that bringing back old modes isn't as easy as flipping a switch. League is constantly changing, which means all of our existing modes require constant upkeep. For example, when we released Yuumi, we had to figure out how she'd function in One for All. What happens when a Yuumi attaches to a Yuumi who is attached to a Yuumi? Because of upkeep like this, we have to be very selective about the modes we maintain. And right now, there are just too few popular modes that feel worth the investment compared to making brand new modes or updating more resonant ones for you. We've mentioned this before.
Combine game
the sweet
modes.
Spot for game modes are ones that
Combine
amplify
them.
champion fantasies and really build on what you love about your champs and Summoner's Rift. So moving forward, we're focusing on adding more game modes that hit this goal. And to that, let's talk about Ultimate Spellbook. First and foremost, you all seem to really love this one. It was one of our highest engagement modes ever, second only to Earth. And beyond popularity, we're super happy with how long you spent making oversized champions with Cho'Gath Salt. And by that we mean the total amount of time you spent in Ultimate Spellbook stayed high throughout the event. That gives us confidence that it's worth keeping around. That said, there are some clear areas of...
I think Ultimate Spellbook's overrated though. Like, it's really cool, but I think there should be more to it. I really want them to bring the one game mode I really want them to bring back that I think would actually help the game beyond the game mode and just making it more fun for that purpose is bring back Black Market Brawlers. And if you guys don't know what Black Market Brawlers was, it was a game mode in like season 5 where you got to like upgrade your minions and stuff like that. I don't know. It was some weird system like that. But the big thing, like the main change with Black Market Brawlers is they basically just added like 30 items to the game that they were testing on Black Market Brawlers. So they added a bunch of crazy items, and the items that seemed not too crazy actually got added to the league. Like Deadman's Plate, for example, was on Black Market Brawlers at first. So that can be like their testing zone for new items and stuff. And then if the items seem, reasonable to add to the real game, they can actually do that. So I think they should actually have that as a more consistent game mode, or at least it should definitely come back every once in a while. But it hasn't since season 5. So I'm still waiting on that. That's the one game mode I'd be super excited for over everything, including Earth.
The feedback that we want to address. Junglers were forced to take Smite and another ultimate, which meant they couldn't choose another summoner spell. They also missed out on a lot of exciting plays during the laning phase because they were stuck clearing camps.
Yes, this sucked.
Beyond that, we also heard that games started to feel a little repetitive due to the small number of available ultimates.
Yes.
And we agree. So, this winter, we'll be bringing back Ultimate Spellbook with a bigger ult pool.
Ooh.
We'll also be making some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate
Wait. So Vex ult, that would be really cool in Warwick. Akali ult, honestly, that'll feel clunky, I think. That'll feel clunky. It'll be good, but it'll feel clunky. Urgot ult would be really cool because you can reel someone in, you press E, get the Urgot fear off, and then get your E fear off. You could go for the double AoE fear. While also having the execute, of course.
We'll also be
That's
making
fun.
some adjustments for junglers to ensure that your experience in Ultimate Spellbook is just as fun as everyone else's. If you'd like to learn more about our approach to game modes, you can check out the dev blog that's coming out today. That's all we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. We hope you're enjoying Worlds as much as we are, and for any pros watching, once again, please pick a Mumu.
Please pick Warwick. You misspoke. But yeah, overall, my thoughts about like this preseason. So the game modes things, that's good. Challenges, that's whatever. Might be good, but I probably won't care about it. But I like these type of changes to the game. Like thinking back to when I played just other video games back in the day, I loved Halo's medal system. That was one of the coolest things of all time. So I think honestly they should have something like that in the league. But anything there's definitely some things that are on the surface that do intrigue me. So we'll see how challenges are. The dragons look awesome, Might be a little bit OP, but of course they can balance it, maybe. But I think they do look pretty cool. The bounties might be good. I know it's a lot of mites. I can't say for certain, but I am feeling pretty good about the bounties. I think the bounties are a pretty good change overall. Items and runes. We'll have to see specifically what the items and runes are. The changes are. I am glad that they did touch on runes a little bit. Some of the bad runes, and I'm glad that they are adding some new items in the game. I think they should be making more changes to items, and I also think that some of these items will end up just being terrible or bad for the game. I think a couple of them will be bad, a couple of them will be good, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's my thoughts on preseason 2022 announcements. They haven't actually gone into details about what the changes are, but I like what I see. I think this preseason is going to be pretty good. It's going to be pretty safe too. Nothing here is too crazy to the point where it's just going to be out of control like last season. So that's good, and hype. So hype for next season. Let's go.